Working with choice to gain your voice. There we were, jammed in the car on Interstate 95, the air conditioner blasting out cold air to offset the summer heat, and everyone except my husband was freezing. The back of the car was packed with suitcases, paddle boards, beach toys, coolers, and snacks crammed into every nook and cranny on our way to Disney World in Orlando, Florida. I had set up the trip to visit Epcot and Universal first, hoping it would make my partner happy by the time we arrived at Fantasyland the last day. But it didn't work. He started complaining about the lines and the people. And I thought, I am done with this unworkable barter system. I remembered reading a book about agreements, and I wondered if I could really change my old habit of not speaking up when I wanted something. So I stopped the car, turned to face my spouse and say, "This is my favorite place. I love Disney and I love Fantasyland. And if you are not willing to stop complaining and enjoy the day, then I will turn this car around and we will all go back to the hotel. But you will not spoil my enchanted day." He looked stunned, and then he agreed to enjoy the day. Then I was stunned. We all went to It's a Small World, the Haunted Mansion, Pirates, all my favorite places. It was magical. Looking back, I thought, why do I do this bartering thing and trade at the rate of 3-to-1? Clearly, this pattern is deeply embedded in our relationship dynamics, and clearly the math is wrong. And why am I so willing to give up what I want based on someone else's bad behavior? When I'm working, solving problems, managing people and projects, directing my life feels relatively easy. So why in my personal life do I struggle with having a voice and speaking my mind? And why is it so difficult to follow through on choices that honor what I want? It seems as soon as I step into the family arena where I am emotionally attached and the stakes are high, my boundaries fly out the window and I get stopped. Hi, I'm Lisa Yvonne, author of Coming Up Unstuck and the Fernhead Travels blog. And this trip helped me realize there are 3 basic things that I need to work on. First, bartering with others to give them double or triple and me half or a third does not feel like a fair agreement, even though I set it up that way. Plus, it makes me angry. I don't actually get what I want, and it's terrible math. Second, making assumptions about what I think you might want in my head will not get me what I want. I barely know what I do want. And when I don't tell others what I want or need, then how is anyone else supposed to know? We are not mind readers. None of us have superpowers where we can step inside someone else's head and know what the other is thinking. The third thing I need to work on is when I am complicit in these agreements and don't speak up for what I want, I am still responsible for things working out the way they do rather than how I think I want them to be. And as much as I want to blame the other person 100%, I co-signed and authored all of these 3-to-1 agreements. That Disney trip helped me see that I can actually make a difference. I do have the power to change my circumstances by taking tiny steps. And that trip is when I started using my external outside voice for choice to create the life I want instead of listening to the internal committee in my head. I began dissecting every decision, big ones, small ones, questioning every situation, looking for where I could take responsibility for creating happiness instead of listening to the voices in my head complaining. I encourage you to try. Ask yourself, do I agree with what's going on? Do I want to change something in the situation? Am I feeling empowered or feeling stuck? Am I willing to make a choice? And is there an action that I can take and be responsible for? And by the way, just because I've never spoken up before in a particular situation doesn't mean it must be that way for the rest of my life. I was so excited speaking my truth at Fantasyland and having that magical day that I tried using my voice with choice again on the way home when the kids wanted to stop for ice cream. My co-pilot said, "No, we need to hurry." And I thought to myself, one, do I agree? No, we don't have to hurry. What do I want? I want ice cream. Am I feeling empowered or stuck? Empowered. That Fantasyland magic works. Am I willing to make a choice? Yes, we're still on vacation and I am not ready for it to end. And can I take an action and be responsible? Yes, I am the one driving, so I am pulling over and we are stopping for ice cream. And we did. This behavior was quite shocking, both to me and my spouse. Starting to make small decisions was making a big difference in how I was feeling. Although my successes were 2 for 2 in Fantasyland, sometimes when I use my voice, I don't get the ice cream. And it's still worth it. It makes a difference. My choosing power gets stronger every time I flex my voice with choice muscles. Speak up even when you're shaking. Do it with a tremble in your voice, but do it anyway. Otherwise, falling back into the abyss of powerlessness is inevitable. Now, as a recovering blamer, I see the impact of speaking up or not speaking up, and I continue to choose where I can be responsible. The dance between my husband and I, which had worked well enough for years, was starting to change. Now there were new conversations, and I was learning that I get to say what happens in my life. It felt invigorating to discover that I could actually use my voice for choice. Several months after our Disney trip, my husband and I started therapy to help us figure things out. It was helpful to have someone who could guide and interpret as we ventured down this new path of communicating. Going to therapy provided us both with a platform where we could learn about each other and speak our truths in a safe environment. You can learn how to create the life you want, and you don't have to wait until the next big decision comes along. Start with little steps and ask yourself, 1, do I agree? 2, do I want something different? 3, am I feeling empowered or stuck? 4, am I willing to make a choice and use my voice? And 5, what actions can I take and be responsible for? When you start flexing your voice for choice muscles, you will begin to create the life you love. And even though you cannot change anyone else, you will always be able to create a better relationship with yourself and include yourself in the equation. So where's that next vacation? I'm in. Thank you.
I so much appreciate what Lisa had to say about working with choice to claim your voice and how important it is to speak up for what you want. You're speaking up for what's important to you and letting others know. She's right when she said that so many of us make assumptions about what others may be thinking or what others may want. When it comes down to it, you're responsible. As she says, I'm responsible for how things turn out when I don't speak up. So I love the question, the internal talk to say, am I feeling empowered or am I feeling stuck? And once you've made that decision, then you have choices. And one of the choices is to speak up. Use your voice and speak up. Start with small decisions is, I think, the best. Start with baby steps. That's what they always tell us, right? Start with baby steps to create the life that I want. Thank you, Lisa.
I loved listening to Lisa Yvonne. She told a story at the beginning about her own getting stuck in a family situation, and I could so relate to that. I felt like she knew me, and she was just speaking right to me because she knew exactly what I was experiencing. And the mantra that she left with me, use your voice for choice, that's something I can remember. And it's something that I will remember anytime I'm feeling stuck or unhappy. It is the mantra that I can use to take 100% responsibility for my own happiness. Thank you, Lisa Yvonne.
So the next time I'm feeling stuck and I feel like my voice is trembling, Lisa has said to still speak up. And by practicing doing that, it'll give us strategies to live a life where we have choices rather than being dictated by someone else, and be able to get some of the choices that we want.